Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house and we'll get into this. Mr. Leo Lustig, good to see you, buddy. 10 minutes to midnight, squared away crypto. What's up, man? Perfect. Andrew Masad, good to see you. We have Nick K in the house. Alexander, good morning. Good morning. Patrick Guyan, what's up, dude? 10 minutes to midnight. Patrick Murphy, appreciate you, buddy. Silver Days, if I already said that, I apologize. Let's get into this. Everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Bitcoin 90,562 bucks. Still looks very strong, but seems to be going sideways. Are we having a sideways reset before we have another blast off? Gonna have to see. Ethereum 31.23. We have BNB at 624 bucks, a little bit down on the day. XRP, holy shit, what's up, little buddy? Perfect. 82 cents. 82 cents. Unfortunately, I got out of my XRP, but that's crazy. ADA also 62 cents. Damn, 10% on the day. Looks really good. Caspa 13 cents. Got some big news on Caspa. The 19th, Kraken is listing Caspa on their tier 1 exchange. That is a tier 1 exchange in the US, so that's amazing. Let's see. LTC looks like it's almost, that's 4% up today. $83, almost $84. Looking pretty good. We got Near Protocol up about 5%, 5.5%. $5.51. Nice. XLM is up 7% to 13.4. Let's see. Dogecoin's down a little bit today, down 4%, but Dogecoin's been on like this insane rally, so totally get a little bit of a pullback or reset. 37 cents, almost 38 cents. Pepe is up 5% today. Pepe has been doing crazy. I think they're at an all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Solana 214 bucks. Let's see. Toncoin is up to $5.34. H-bar. Oh, there's some news with H-bar. What the hell was it? No, that was Hedera. Never mind. I'm thinking Hedera. But 7 cents. I forget. There was some other news with H-bar. I cannot remember what the hell that was. Damn. But even the Hedera thing, what the hell was that? There was something to do with voting online or something. Am I wrong? Something like that. I heard it last night listening to Hawk. Actually, he mentioned it. It was somewhere on Twitter. Anyways, whatever. Crypto bubbles over here. H bar 7. Wait, hold on. Is it the same thing? Am I thinking the same thing? I'm losing my mind here. I don't even know. Anyways, 17% up on the day. 7 cents. XRP 15.3 up on the day. Looks like Brett's the biggest earner of the day. This is another meme coin over here. This is the Coinbase meme coin. Yeah, 17 cents if anybody's into that. MOG is up on the day, 12.5%. Goat's up 10.7. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Anyways, yeah, Cardano's going nuts. Cardano is going nuts. Yeah, they're I guess they're working with the government in some form or fashion. So yeah, Cardano's doing very well. I wonder what the charts look like on it, but I'm gonna look at that at my own time. All right, crypto fear and greed index flashbang. Let's see, we got 80 on the fear and greed. 80 it was at 88 yesterday. Extreme greed is still extreme greed today, but 80 is much better than 88. I like to see it come down and have a little bit of a reset. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a little bit of a cool off period between like the Black Friday, Thanksgiving area to like Christmas or so. That's usually how it works. And then obviously the new administration, Trump doesn't come in the office till January 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So that is probably going to cause another rally. That's just my opinion. Bro, Crypto KJ, I woke up like 10 minutes ago. I woke up like 10 minutes ago. It's crazy today. All right, listen, when you have kids, you don't sleep. It's unfortunate. All right, let's see. Top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin at a $1.779 trillion market cap. Ethereum, Tether, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, XRP, USDC, Lado staked Ether, and Cardano over here in 10th place at a 21, almost $22 billion market cap. Holy shit. Cardano's killing it. Really is killing it. That's crazy. Let's see, Tron coins at in 11th place at 15.8 billion, and Shiba's at a 14.3 billion in 12th place. Toncoin got kicked down to 13th, 13.6 billion. Interesting. Let's see, Litecoin over here 26th place at a 6.3 billion. We got Caspa. We had some quick reactions yesterday to the tier 1 exchange listing, but that was about it. and then it kind of just died back down. 13 cents right now, $3.2 billion market cap. Let's see. All right, we're gonna move on to the mining segment of things. I kind of have a few things I want to watch this morning. So you guys know I like to timestamp this stuff. Let's see what we got over here. Just gonna refresh quick. The Antminer L9, we have 17 gigahash unit making $54 a day. That is insane. We got the Antminer L9 16 gigahash unit making $50.85. Let's see, the DG1 Plus $42.14 a day. We got the DG1 original $32.30 a day. The L7, look at my 9050. You guys know I got this thing down. Terra Hosting, shout out to them if you're interested in hosting. Link is in the description. Paying 10 cents a kilowatt hour down there. This is what I am making on my 9050 3-year-old plus machine, $25.10 a day. That's crazy. Refresh that ish. We at 90k, almost got liquidated. Almost got liquidated at what, on Caspa? Is that what you're talking about? Refresh what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Mr. Tonto Bong Ronto? What are you saying in the chat? All right, let's see. AL3, where's AL1? AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit, $18.49 a day. We got the 15.6 terahash unit making $17.36. How's the lithium looking? I heard it was going down quite a bit. Let's see. Let me see. Man, it has $1.09. Jesus. It's just taking a beating lately, huh? Last 7 days looking real bad. Real bad. Triple Nickel, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. What was I gonna look at? Oh my god, it's a rough morning today. Radiant Z. All right, let's see. Anything else I really want to look at? What the hell is this? Gold Shell LT6 3.35 gigahash unit, $4.66 a day. What is that? I don't even know what that is. LT6. Actually, I didn't look at this yesterday. Is this the one I looked at yesterday? I can't remember. Let's see. Checking out some new. Oh, they got an LT5 as well and an LT Lite. Interesting. Gold Shell comes up with this random ass miners. We got the Dogecoin 3 plus 810 mega hash unit, 500 watts. I got this thing running in the solar trailer, making $1.78 a day. I think it's making over $2 a day because I'm paying obviously free power solar. It works pretty well in there. Let's see. AL Box 2 720 gigahashes making 33 cents. Jeez, bruh, that's terrible. Am I buffering? Shouldn't be buffering. My brain's buffering. I'm exhausted this morning. If it's buffering, it's probably on YouTube's end. Just refresh, because it's not on my end. Everything seems fine here. All right, jumping into GPUs. I'm over this morning. See what we got. I'm gonna refresh it. Aleo over here. All right, I guess that's refreshed. Aleo, top of the charts. Zealous and Ergo as well on the 170HX. Yeah, I would say you're looking at Aleo. Aleo, a little bit of Raven coin I saw. Let's see, what's Aleo doing? Aleo down a little bit today. Pretty stagnant from yesterday though. 7 days been going down pretty hard. Is what it is. Raven. How's Raven coin looking? I think BBT said he was going on his Raven coin cruise this week or something. A month it's been doing all right. Is anybody into Raven coin? Anybody still holding Raven coin? I am not personally, but hey, to each his own. All right, moving on. New segment of things. Did you guys see this? The 18 US states, or 18 of these US states, file lawsuit against SEC and chair Gary Gensler. Crazy. The presidential-elect Donald Trump has vowed to fire the SEC chair Gary Gensler and replace him with more crypto-friendly SEC head. This is nuts. 18 states though file a lawsuit against him. Let's see what they are. Plaintiffs include Nebraska, Tennessee, Wyoming, Kentucky, West Virginia, Iowa, Texas, Mississippi, Ohio, Montana, and others. Damn. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC has not respected this allocation of authority. Instead, without congressional authorization, the SEC has sought to unilaterally, is that what it says? Wrest regulatory authority away from the states through an ongoing series of enforcement actions. Crazy. Bunch of nonsense with Gary Gensler once again. Also, Kraken, again, I posted this yesterday. So did Kraken, obviously. When Caspa, you asked a million times. November 19th, 14 UTC. That's when it's getting listed on Kraken, if you guys did not know. Moving on to Roy and Kitty post breaking: Trump to eliminate all capital gain taxes on crypto issued by U.S. companies. How crazy is that?
Perfect.
I hope he just no tax on crypto capital gains. That'd be amazing. Absolutely amazing. But all right, let's get into this. I'm tired of talking. We are going to see what they have to say over here. Mr. Jay Clayton, this is the former SEC head. I would serve in a Trump administration if there's a job that fits my skill set. I wonder if he'd get brought back for the SEC chair. Let's see.
All right, welcome back to Squawk Box, everyone. Joining us right now is former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. Of course, he's Apollo Independent Chair, also a CNBC contributor and a Squawk Box regular. And Jay, it is great to have you here this morning. A lot of directions to go down this morning. We're going to talk about regulatory oversight, but we were already talking this morning about who's been placed where in the cabinet and what to think of some of these things. The Attorney General, Matt Gaetz, is raising a lot of brows in Washington at this point. People wondering whether he would be able to be confirmed by the Senate. What do you think of the choice?
Well, actually, let's talk about the choices collectively.
Okay.
And I think they tie back to the key promises that were made in the Trump campaign, and that I think the Trump campaign believes that they won on. The border. Look at Homan. I mean, you know where he stands. He's like, and you're going to have Mayorkas on. No one in America thinks that the border is working. Everybody in America knows we have the resources to fix it. Mm-hmm. He's going to fix it. So that's, pretty clear. You look at efficiency. Musk did an incredible job in the last month of the campaign explaining that government is not working well for the people. Mm-hmm. That we're spending. He's full on. He's in. He's appointed. The economy. There are still appointments to come. So we'll take a look at that.
We'll be watching that pretty closely. That's the market's going to be watching.
The market's going to be watching that. And then the Justice Department. The American people, when they look at the last 10 years and things like the raid on Mar-a-Lago, that's a thing that I think you talk to anybody, it bothers them. Because what was so essential that you had to have a nighttime raid to get documents? We've never had an answer to that question. And this wonderful country, we rightfully have a healthy distrust for government. And we need to think about whether, law enforcement has been used in a way that really is politically inappropriate. That's a question that we're allowed to ask, and we should ask. Now, I know lots of people at the Justice Department, and I know lots of people at the U.S. Attorney's offices. Almost everyone I've ever met is a fundamentally good person, dedicated to the country. But we should be asking those questions in light of the cases that have been brought over the last 8 years.
Do you think
it's a weird choice?
Yeah, it's a weird choice
of Matt Gaetz to weaponize.
Well, look, Matt. It's not necessarily. Matt Gaetz was willing to ask. This is what I say. He was willing to ask when others weren't. What the heck is going on here? Very loudly, and I think that is something that's
people are asking the same thing about some of the things in his life.
Dude, he looks like an evil supervillain. This guy's eyebrows are insane. Real quick, Dan R said, "How can we pay for military defense if we have no tax system?" One of the videos we're gonna watch shortly with the Department of Government Efficiency, you're gonna see how insane some of the governmental spending is and where money can be cut. We're gonna show that in a few minutes.
No, too, like what the heck?
I'm not gonna get into that. But
his eyebrows are seriously insane. Yeah, it looks like the Grinch. There you go, the Grinch eyebrows.
But like it's front and center,
I think the
though.
question, this is a different point maybe. I absolutely accept the idea that there's a whole bunch of Americans that distrust government, they distrust the legal system, they think it's been weaponized. All of those things, I think, I will stipulate to you are true.
But isn't that amazing?
100%. And needs to be fixed and resolved. Mm-hmm. Okay. The question is whether resolving it with somebody who, on its face, creates a whole other level of distrust about government and whether they're the right person. I mean, there are members of Congress who have literally said that he showed them pictures of naked women on his phone and on the floor of Congress. And I just think, on its face, a sensible person who may have had that distrust says, well, do I trust this? And there's got to be people in the world that can be both loyal to the president and that would instill a level of trust for the whole country.
But besides
this guy, Andrew, man, put him in the back. Like make him run the cameras or something. He is like, I don't know. Estrogen's flowing high in this one.
prurient stuff. It almost looks like he was less interested in governing. I mean, look at what happened with the Speaker McCarthy, et cetera, and more interested in being in front of cameras and self-aggrandizement and sort of his own, I don't know, ambition to, it apparently looks like it's paid off, but there was no governing involved in that. That's sort of the thrust of the Journal piece today. They don't bring up any of the more tawdry aspects of this. Do you think that in 2 days, I guess they're not going to do it. Do you think that the House ethics report should come out as part of the vetting for him to get to?
I'm going to leave that all to the Senate.
Would you agree to be deputy AD and under Matt Gaetz?
Look, I'm not going to. I have told the transition team and the president that for a job that I think I could be effective and that would satisfy my skill sets or be consistent with my skill sets, that I would serve. I think it is so important for people to step up and serve in government that if asked to do something that fit my skill set, I would do it.
All right, let's talk regulatory changes that are coming, because we've had several people who've been on the show trying to figure out what the Trump agenda is going to mean from an economic perspective. You can try and figure out inflation, but the regulatory overhang is a huge one in how it holds back the economy.
The regulatory overhang is, I think, even greater than we all imagined. And one of the issues that we're going to see is whether, we talked about antitrust earlier, you guys were talking about antitrust, again, in light of the Justice Department, whether we're going to see an antitrust policy that is actually coordinated with overall economic policy. So if what we're going to do is drive growth through the flywheel of energy, tech, capital, human capital, and the like, are we going to have a antitrust policy at the FTC and the D.O.G.E that fits with that, or that is, quote unquote, independent of that? There are times when independence, meaning isolation, is really silly in the regulatory state.
Okay, so Eamon was on earlier today and pointed out that Matt Gaetz is what they call some of the conservatives who like Lena Khan. And that brings some questions into what's going to be able to be done from an M&A perspective.
I expect, and look, it's not up to me. Mm-hmm. I expect that we will have a very liberal M&A market, because markets are moving faster than ever. Who would have thought that Perplexity would be this, I'd say very significant competitor to Google search? Markets are moving so fast that allowing market forces to determine future direction, rather than somebody sitting at the FTC thinking this is the way the market should look, is something we should give much more deference to.
I would take that at face value, but what we saw in the last Trump administration was that was the case unless you were someone or a company that ticked off President Trump. And then he singled you out, and then you felt like you couldn't get things done, a la AT&T.
Look, I think that oftentimes people will say that there's a personal motivation in connection with an enforcement matter in order to deflect and game. Look, when I was a regulator, I can stipulate that I had no personal motivation in cases that we brought. Many times, people were like, "Oh, he's bringing this case for this reason. He's bringing the case for that reason." That happens a lot. We should be somewhat skeptical. And when people say it about anybody in the Biden administration now, I'm highly skeptical.
Although it's harder to deflect when you have a president who's very vocal on social media, mm-hmm. on X or Truth Social or someone, saying things about the companies that are trying to get things done, and then somehow, lo and behold, they are blocked by government offices from being able to do those very things.
Yeah, looking forward, I don't expect a lot of frictions in the M&A market unless if I was going to go somewhere, mm-hmm. it would be using your market power to dominate another market. That's the kind of thing where I can see.
But otherwise, maybe game on.
Game on.
Because it's been shut down for 4 years.
Because it's been shut down, and the markets have moved on, right. And markets move faster.
Do you know anything about the economic appointments? You hearing it when we're going to hear Treasury? You know nothing.
I know no more than you do.
You know no more.
John Paulson's out. That we know.
John Paulson's out. Yeah.
We know Howard Lutnick wants to be in, supposedly, right. by way of reports. I don't know. Besant.
I think these are extremely important appointments. We have an economy. Mark Andreessen made a comment that I thought was absolutely terrific. He said it's a coiled spring, ready to explode. He's right, and the economic team should recognize that and know how to release that spring in the way that's best for the country.
So can I ask one thing? We keep talking about a coiled spring, and we also talk about sort of everybody being very excited, and then at the same time, you've talked about it. Even Nelson Peltz talked about it yesterday. This idea that we might actually be headed into a recession. That things don't, trees don't go to the sky. That it's just impossible.
It's a crappy time.
I saw that. Was he talking about the markets, or was he talking about the general economy? Because
I think he was talking about the markets.
I think he was talking about the markets.
Because we're at 20. No one wants to be president at 23 times earnings. You know what I mean? When you come in, it'd be better. I'd love it at 10 times earnings.
You love coming in at the bottom, right?
Right. Or if you're going to create jobs after a pandemic, bring it on.
Buy low, sell high. Oddly enough,
but if it demonstrably is a coiled spring, then actually the market should hold.
I think the market is anticipating
it's already
the uncoiling. The market's way ahead, but we have to uncoil that spring and continue to drive the economy forward. Energy is so important. Tech is so important, and efficiencies.
This is an easy question for you. Will you still be a CNBC contributor in a month?
Hope so. Are you firing me?
No, just wondering whether you have bigger fish to fry or not. You have no idea?
Yeah. We do love you coming on here.
We do.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to Jay Clayton. All right, let's move on. Elon Musk, $2 trillion spending cut goal is very ambitious, says some lady over here on CNBC. Let's do it.
Meantime, my next guest has a new note out in which she tries to quantify the spending cuts and possible targets of the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Musk and Ramaswamy. For more, I'm joined by Sarah Bianchi. She's Chief Strategist of International Political Affairs and Public Policy at Evercore. Sarah, a fun one to put together. By the way, I noted, as our colleague Brian Sullivan points out, the defense, I don't know if call them contractors, the Booz Allens and the likes, really trading down sharply in anticipation of what could happen here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot at risk when you announce a commission like that. But it is important for people to keep in mind that a lot of the federal government spending is Social Security and Medicare. That's really most of it, honestly. And then there is defense spending, which can be politically difficult. It's a big part of the budget, but lots of Republicans in particular like to increase it. And then there's the other part that we call non-discretionary, non-defense discretionary, education and the like. I think people, while Elon Musk is a great innovator and has certainly made a lot of contributions, he might find some of these programs are pretty hard to get rid of. First of all, most of this is within the purview of Congress. This is not something you can just wake up one morning in the executive branch and get rid of. And so there are going to be limitations there. And again, it's very, very difficult. Most of these programs are there because they have a champion. And so we think getting the scope of what Musk is talking about, $2 trillion, is very, very ambitious.
I mean, let's start from the premise that it's unlikely that we hit that number. But what is likely to you? Where exactly could we see meaningful, and maybe not even meaningful, but where could we see cuts, period?
So we think one of the places that Republicans are going to go quickly is the Medicaid program. That is a little bit easier legislatively, politically in their minds. We think the Affordable Care Act would be letting some of those subsidies expire at the end of next year. Again, this non-defense discretionary, that tends to be things like education, some kind of a potpourri of low-income programs. So those are places where you could look. And again, I can see, potentially knocking off I don't know, $2 trillion over 10 years, but certainly not $2 trillion per year.
So there are actually a number of public companies that have Medicaid exposure. So that'll be something for those investors to think about. Where else, Sarah?
Well, you all were mentioning the EV tax credit, and I do think that is on the list. I guess that's not spending per se, but there are folks who believe that is not a necessary credit. And I also thought it was interesting that the commission talked some about regulation yesterday. So it doesn't seem that they are really just going for budget cuts. They're also going to look at places where Washington is over-regulatory, that you have a lot more authority to deal with in the executive branch. It may not get you those dollar numbers that you're looking for, but certainly it can provide a lot of relief.
That would be kind of in the environmental, energy, education, and those kinds of areas?
Exactly, financials. But certainly, I think a lot of times when they talk about the EV mandate, they're not necessarily just talking about the tax credits. They're also talking a lot about the environmental regulations that the Biden administration has in place to help drive this transition. Those we expect him to propose day one to move against. Again, it takes time to re-regulate in that space, but very, very much on the target.
Well, we appreciate the granularity. And as we get more detail, we'd love to have you back, talk more about it.
Nismo, what are you saying in the chat? This lady online gets $12K a month because her kids identify as a cat. What? That's a disability, apparently. Oh my God, this country has gone to shit. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy over here uncover shocking uses of the U.S. tax dollars. So this is the video I was talking about. Let's see how crazy the tax dollars being spent right now.
Tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
Well, that was Vivek Ramaswamy touting the new Department of Government Efficiency that he and Elon Musk will be running. Now, also known as DOGE, this temporary agency will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive structural government change from outside the government. Now, they put out their first messaging on X yesterday, writing this: working overtime to ensure your tax dollars will be spent wisely. So what have we been spending some of our federal funds on? Let's review. Almost $550,000 went to a Russian lab to run experiments on cats' brains. That was spent by the National Institutes of Health. $3.7 million of funding went to a study on monkeys and gambling, another NIH fascinating project. And the State Department awarding tens of thousands of dollars for drag shows in Ecuador.
That is fucking dumb.
And that's just the tip of the wasteful spending iceberg. Here's Senator James Langford rattling off just a few government spending projects at a House hearing last year. Watch.
Last year, the State Department did a grant to Ecuador to host 12 drag shows in Ecuador.
What?
With American tax dollars. Now, may have different opinions.
Oh yeah, we need that for sure.
Opinions in this room on drag shows? I'm just asking the simple question. Is the best use of American tax dollars to actually fund drag shows in Ecuador with U.S. tax dollars? National Science Foundation last year did a study of butterflies in Europe. So we funded with American taxpayer dollars. Last year, there was also a NEA grant that was done to set up a display in Brooklyn for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which, by the way, is not even an American band. We had an almost, $350,000 grant to study smart toilets. Was one of the grants that we actually paid for with our federal tax dollars last year.
What is a smart toilet? I'm a plumber. I have no idea what that is.
We also had a grant that was done studying colonial Mexican soundscapes. We last year,
like the ones with like the bum tickler where it comes out and just gives you a little wash. Like, is that what he's talking about?
Did a study on helmets and seatbelts in Ghana to be able to study whether seatbelts and helmets were effective for saving lives in Ghana. Can I just go ahead and answer that question for free? Seatbelts and helmets are a good idea. They save lives. Free.
Oh, Haley, the American people had no idea about this, and how would they?
That's right.
When the administration we are disentangling ourselves from is committed to an opacity, and at the same time, Americans can't afford grocery bills, but hey, let's spend millions on a bunch of ridiculous projects outside this country.
It is
insane. And then the whole funding Ukraine and all that stuff
is complete and total malpractice. And the biggest government positions to me that have been appointed are Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk in this new department. And it's not just the money. The money is a big part of it. It is gutting the career civil service from this administration. Let me give you an example. Trump becomes president in 2016. Trump goes in.
Beatbox, why would you rather watch CNN? I'm waiting. Let me know. I want to go to CNN. We're watching this because it's relevant to like what's happening with our lives. And this is to update me, so I apologize if you don't want to watch, but
do you want to know what happens 1 month later? 1 month after he is president of the United States, commander-in-chief, a vote of the American people, details of his calls with the foreign leaders of Mexico and Australia were leaked. Mexico went to the Associated Press. Australia details went to the Washington Post. These were career civil servants leaking the details Trump was having with foreign leaders. They need to go. The American people spoke. He is president of the United States. Get rid of the bureaucracy. It's not about undermining Trump. That's undermining you, undermining your vote. Get rid of them on day one. Vivek, I know, is up to the task. I've had conversations with him about this. It's time to put these two in charge. Give them a ton of power. Get rid of career civil servants.
Yes, ma'am. I can't wait. And remember, I was a federal attorney. I was an acting director in a top 10 agency of an appellate office. And I really can't express adequately what it is like to push against the beast of spending. And among those spendings, I want to talk to you about something, Paul, which is the overpayments. This is where the waste comes into play. $3 trillion, Open the Books reported. Since 2004, they define it as essentially wrong payments to the wrong person or for the wrong reason. Do you think Americans will give that back? Because I saw firsthand the billions of overpayments by the Social Security Administration where, oh, I'm sorry, guys, we just wasted $3 billion for no reason other than ineptitude, incompetence, or sheer laziness. And my point is that it is the structure that bakes it in. So Elon and Vivek are coming in and they're going to blow up that structure just like this. Well, we gave them money before, so we're going to do it again. No, we do not inherit the incompetence anymore.
I'll give you a good example, salient example. So apparently it's bouncing around online that when Pete Hegseth got SecDef, there was a quote from a government contract, military contractor, saying essentially, who the blank is Pete Hegseth? That is exactly the reaction you want, right? Because who's this outsider that's going to come in, that's going to kick this whole thing over, essentially, right? It's not somebody that he's taken to lunch, he's been whining and dining for the last 20 years, that he knows the contract's a done deal. That's exactly what you're talking about, Kaylee, and that is what you need. The other thing is, two things real quick. First of all, why are we funding all these bad ideas in other countries? We have enough bad ideas of our own, for the love of God. Why are we, helmets and God, come on.
Doge could cut government-funded cat research in Russia. Bro, I'm just reading these things. There's something about frogs 2 seconds ago down here. You guys reading this?
That's one thing. The other thing is this real quick. I know and I recognize, and this is the argument against it, that the real money we have to worry about is Medicare, Social Security. I get those are the big numbers. I understand that. But these wasteful products still take us into the billions, right? It still matters. Yep. What you do, and this is what I'd like to see, is as you cut these superfluous programs, put them into something that people visually see. Say we cut.
Like, what is this? $3.7 million in grants funding monkey gambling research. Like, what the? is that? Why do we care? People have a problem gambling. I'm assuming monkeys are going to be the same way. What the hell? What does it matter?
$500 million from this nonsense. We've built an old age home for veterans. Here it is in Maryland, in Virginia, wherever. And that money went here. Something useful, something domestic.
Yeah.
They spent $549,000 for cat research in Russia.
More examples of the squander of what your money, guys, the government's money, that is your money. So let's show you a few more things of outrageousness that our tax dollars are being spent on.
Here we go.
$100,000 to see if a sunfish is more aggressive when given gin or tequila.
Oh my gosh.
$1 million to
a sunfish? What?
see if selfies make you happy. $1.5 million to study the mating calls of country frogs to see if they are different than city frogs. That, Cheryl, is what hardworking Americans' tax dollars are going to.
Oh, I have more. Why is the University of Mississippi spending $12 million for monkeys on meth? And why did the EPA spend
monkeys on meth?
$20 grand
That's not real.
for armor and night vision equipment? Somebody explain that one to me. But I'll tell you what, the biggest one that killed me was the fact that the IRS between October of 21 and 23, they've got $50 million in unpaid taxes from their own employees.
Whoa!
IRS employees owe $50 million in back taxes. I want that. I want the IRS so gutted at this point. And Elon Musk, remember what he did with Twitter? He slashed out 70% of the employees at Twitter when he
I can't wait for that boulder to smash the glass house of the IRS.
But I have to tell you, the other thing too is, why does Anthony Fauci and Rand Paul pointed this out? Why does he have a $15 million security?
Yeah, we covered that here on this couch, Harris. And at the end of the day, the whole point is now President Trump is saying, not anymore, not on my watch. We are going to audit the government. And we are going to stop the spigot of hemorrhaging, and we are also going to do a better job auditing, because it's clear that Americans do a better job auditing their own finances than the government does.
So a lot of that, and then I'm looking at that federal spending and adding up what you just called out, Cheryl. And all of that ends up being relatively small money considering how much they want to cut. But here's the thing, the way that you change the structure and the texture of things is to make small cuts. You said it earlier, Emily. You're going to not do this with a shovel, you're going to do it with a scalpel. And that's how you change government from the inside out. Wait, who's Pete Hegseth? Well, we could go on about the double Bronze Star winner. We could go on about his military service. Let them find out what kind of strategist he is as a CIV, Combat Infantryman badge. Let him find out how great he was on the ground leading people. But my point with all of this is you have until July 4th, Independence Day in 2026, to get this done. That's what the president-elect has told Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And the reason that is you will have changed so much government that the last 2 years of your presidency, with possibly a flip in one house or the other on Capitol Hill, will have a new texture of government behind it. You'll really start to feel the cuts and the things that they're doing. I love the deadline.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily.
Interesting. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. All right. SEC Chair Gary Gensler defends agency's approach to crypto regulation. See what they got to say over here. CNBC Crypto World. Let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Senate Republicans have chosen South Dakota Senator John Thune as Senate Majority Leader, and he might be an ally for crypto. Coinbase-backed advocacy group Stand With Crypto gave him an A rating, saying that he strongly supports the industry. The organization cites his support for overturning the SEC's Special Accounting Bulletin 121, which gives companies guidance on the handling of customers' digital assets. Next, federal law enforcement raided the home of Polymarket's CEO Shane Coplin. Reuters reports agents demanded Coplin's electronic devices as part of an investigation into whether the platform allowed US-based users to make bets on the site. Polymarket is, of course, the crypto-focused betting platform that gained attention for showing Trump with an advantage in the 2024 election, while national polls showed a tied race. On X, Coplin called the raid a, quote, last-ditch effort for the Biden administration to go after companies it deems political opponents. A Polymarket spokesperson also claimed the raid was political retribution because Polymarket correctly predicted the outcome of the election. The Department of Justice declined to comment on the raid and the claims made by Polymarket. Last, SEC Chair Gary Gensler delivered a speech at a legal education conference reflecting on the agency's accomplishments under his leadership. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to fire Gensler on the campaign trail, and while he likely can't do that, he can appoint someone else to lead the agency. While Gensler didn't say he was resigning this morning, he called it an honor to serve with members of the SEC, which he has led since 2021. He also doubled...
I was listening to the Paul Barron show. I don't know if you guys listened to that, but I think it's called Tech Path. He was saying that he thinks that Gary, he could possibly maybe resign today after like the press is done putting out shit for the weekend, which would be kind of interesting, but who knows?
Down on the agency's crypto stance, saying that courts ruled many tokens, other than Bitcoin, are securities and therefore fall under the SEC's purview, which has made him an enemy to many in the industry. All right, let's get back to the markets for our main story. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sigalo spoke with John Wu, president of Ava Labs, to get his take on the recent performance of altcoins and what the incoming Trump administration means for platforms like Avalanche.
Okay, so let's start with markets and specifically with price moves in altcoins. We've obviously seen this huge post-election rally across the crypto market with those smaller cap coins leading gains. But there's been some question about whether the bull run will consolidate to focus on the larger tokens like Bitcoin and Ether. How are you thinking about prices right now and whether rising tides lift all ships will last?
Well, I do believe rising tides lift all shifts, Mackenzie. I don't have to think about prices, luckily, because I'm an operator. But I will tell you, I used to be a hedge fund manager. When the operating environment is good, usually asset prices follow. And since about last week in the elections, what we've seen is the amount of inbound applications that want to develop on blockchains and traditional finance companies that want to deploy on blockchains and Web3 have increased tremendously. I would call it an institutional unlock. Today, for instance, we just announced at Ava Labs that BlackRock is going to tokenize their treasury bills, treasury fund on Avalanche with the help of our partner Securitize. So that's an example of things that are really moving forward and accelerated since the election.
So what's the largest driver of the rally? Because really, as you said, you're not thinking about prices, but those altcoin surging is really a reflection of optimism about what the underlying businesses are able to do. So is there a particular policy unlock that's a real game changer for your business? Or is it just that banks will more easily be able to have exposure to this sector without worrying about regulatory blowback? What's the big change here?
It's all of that, but I think if you have to narrow one, and one that's the most important, it's clarity for stablecoins. Stablecoins has had, some researchers have said that there's more settlement on stablecoins on chain these days than that of the Visa network. And if you get that going, the tokenization of value and moving value around the world should bring down costs. I mean, you've brought information costs down to almost zero through the internet. The Web3 and blockchain and crypto is supposed to represent value transfer in an efficient way and bring costs down that way as well. But yet today, it's still 2.5% for credit cards, it's $25 for wire, and it's also a lot more for foreign exchange cross-border stuff. And remittances are 10 to 15%. That's part of the excitement, and it starts with stablecoins.
So I know that lawmakers have been actively seeking out the guidance of people within the industry. Stablecoin legislation definitely top of the agenda. As soon as that new session gets underway, I'm hearing that's pretty unlikely that would happen during the lame duck. Are you advising any House representatives or senators on this bill in particular, or any other topics related to the crypto industry, what they're considering as they head into the next session?
We're a technology software services company. We're agnostic, but we obviously talk to people. We have our in-house general counsel. We work on association groups, but we're not really directly talking to DC, so to speak, but we work through association groups.
And focusing on this next Trump administration and what it means for blockchain developers, some people I've spoken to are relieved that they can spend less money and time on lawyers and more efforts and energy on R&D. How is Avalanche thinking about its strategy starting in 2025, and how are you feeling about the landscape for the industry next year?
Well, Ava Labs, the team behind Avalanche, who helped companies build on top of the permissionless blockchain Avalanche, we've always been, a technology company. We want to serve as many enterprises as possible, both crypto native as well as call it, TradFi or enterprises. The way we think about it is that there's more certainty, it's a lot easier. And we were too busy to begin with, but now the amount of inbound inquiries for more development on Avalanche has only multiplied. So we're obviously happy about the new environment, but regardless, we don't really want to think about how regulations go. I think there was just generally an institutional unlock that has been fantastic for Ava Labs.
So BlackRock has really emerged as the face of institutional adoption in the crypto sector. It's surpassed Grayscale as the largest digital asset manager in the world, and its Bitcoin ETF now holds more than $40 billion in assets. You've been working closely with their team on these new product launches. Tell me what that's been like.
Yeah, in fact, I think their BTC ETF is now greater in AUM than their gold ETF. So you have to credit Larry. 2 years ago, he's affectionately called a no-coiner in this space. But about a year and a half ago, he really changed his tune and fully embraced the technology. He's been out there. He's been on your show and on CNBC in the past talking about how tokenization is a tremendous innovation that's going to bring forward the entire financial services industry. So I think the great thing about what he's doing, tokenizing treasury bills right now, it's going to be over 500 million that he's doing so far, and even more going forward, is that he's actually eating the dog food himself. And I think that is the best way to participate in Web3. It's a participation sport, and just having an ETF is good, but working in the space, using the technology, that's what we ultimately want.
Now, our audience, especially those traditional Wall Street investors, want to know what the big unlock is for them. What's newly going to be possible under Trump administration? Is that banks being able to custody Bitcoin, collateralize it? Walk me through what you're working on that'll be relevant to traditional firms that want to dial up their exposure to crypto.
Well, so that's a great question. I mean, I think people are trying to get ahead of the Trump administration already because of all the rumors about reserve currency for Bitcoin. So people are trying to get ahead of that. But really, it's usage. I mean, Detroit has announced in 2025 they're going to accept cryptocurrencies as a way of payment for taxes. I think today the Pennsylvania legislature is trying to pass bills that allow crypto or Bitcoin to be a reserve. So we're going to see more and more states trying to use crypto in various ways, similar to what you've seen in emerging markets. In Argentina, for instance, and Ava Labs just had a summit down in Argentina. Basically, 30% of the people in the country, because of inflation, because of instability of other things in the country, they transfer their pesos right into cryptocurrencies or go to a black market and transfer into dollars as fast as possible, but they have to pay a huge premium for the dollar. So in the rest of the world, the adoption has been happening. And what we're excited for is things like that's happening in Detroit or Pennsylvania. And if you follow the operating momentum, that's the best way to decide which alts and which assets you want to be participating in.
Okay, that's all for crypto.
Interesting. All right, shout out to Crypto World. Let's move on to the videos of the day. Mr. Lark Davis, brutal truth. Most will sell crypto too early. It happens. Even to me on ADA.
Here's the brutally honest fucking truth, okay? Most of you are going to sell your crypto coins way too early. Whether you're buying now, okay, and you sell for like, oh, it's up to 50%, man, I'm going to sell now. Or you've been here for a while. And look, there's nothing wrong with taking profits. I want to make that very clear. Nothing wrong with taking profits. You'll have to sell everything by the end of this market cycle, or you're going to lose all your money. We'll get to that in a few minutes. However, a lot of people are going to sell too early. I already see people on the timeline and social media and stuff being like, oh, man, wow, Bitcoin's up to like 90K or whatever, so like, it's time to get out. It's all over. We're going to zero now. Great Depression starting, all that kind of stuff. The usual sort of stuff. Look, here's something you have to understand. PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, okay, in markets is a real thing. Look, 2022 was a messed up year, man. We had all these exchanges and shit collapsing. 2023, we had just days of just sideways action for days and weeks on end sometimes, and just like watching paint dry, no volatility at all in the market. It was absolutely wild. Then we had just massive volatility. We had this teaser in early 2024 where we got the 74K price and we just went down only for months and months and months on end. We had the Japanese yen carry trade crisis and Israel-Iran conflict and all this other bullshit happening. World War III any minute, Great Depression any minute. It's something that'll screw you up, man, okay? You have to shake off the bear market PTSD. Because now we're in a situation where for the next 3 to 6, maybe 12 months max, my guess, you're gonna have a great opportunity to make truckloads of money. But if you're still scared to make money, you're not gonna make money. Scared money don't make money, okay? If you're still just like, okay, I've got to like break even on any of these coins or whatever, and just, you're not gonna make the money, man. You have to get rid of the PTSD. You have to switch your bias, okay? Look, when the markets are trending down, it's okay to be bearish during those times because it's the time to be bearish, okay? When markets are trending up, when we have clear breakouts right across the board, we've been tracking daily those breakout moves happening here in the market. That's the time to flip your bias. So we're seeing people, selling the breakout, and you've waited 3 years. If you've been buying Bitcoin at any point in the last 3 years, you've waited 3 years to see a major breakout for Bitcoin, and you're going to sell it. 77K, 83K. Get out of here. What are you talking about, man? It's six-figure Bitcoin time, baby. Seriously. And I know I already see the comments like, oh,
all set. You're correct. Stick to the plan. If you have a goal, meet that goal. That's the whole point.
100K Bitcoin, that's bullshit. Or 200K Bitcoin. Now, 200K Bitcoin, I think, is going to be a pretty high target price for the market. Now, I know some people are going to say, Lark, you're wrong. We're going to 500K this cycle. We're going to 700K this cycle. We're going to $1 million this cycle. My opinion, those are the kind of comments, and I'm happy to be proven wrong because I'm holding my Bitcoin anyway. I don't really care. But those kind of comments are the kind of comments that will get a lot of people stuck, right? Just in the same way I got stuck at 69K and not selling every single altcoin at that particular moment because I thought, man, we're really going to go to 100K this cycle, aren't we? We did not, okay? But I don't think 200K is an unrealistic target. 150K feels like a very solid target for the next few months. 200K cycle peak does not feel unrealistic. You let me know if you agree or disagree with that. But if you're selling at 83K or 85K or 87K or whatever the heck the price is, today's moving around so fast, hard to know. You're probably selling early, okay? You're literally selling the breakout, a multi-year breakout, which is in play. You're selling it at the first moment, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with taking the profits, okay? But if you're full stack exiting the market, I don't know what to tell you, man. Now, before I show you the next charts, I want to take a quick moment to let you know about...
Nope.
Let's continue. So here's the chart from the 2020 breakout, okay? So if you are selling now, you are selling early, and this is just for Bitcoin. Altcoins haven't even caught up to break highs yet for the most part. Ethereum has not broken its previous high.
2021.
It's still 30-40% under its previous all-time high. Dogecoin has not broken its high. Solana, well, I'm recording anyway, it's been really gunning hard recently, but it has not broken its high either, okay? And you have to understand, like, once Solana hits price discovery mode, it's going to teleport to $500 real quick. Once Ethereum hits $4,800, it's going to teleport to 10K real quick. Okay, so if you're selling now or you're selling those right at the breakout, you're selling too early. Just like if you had sold Bitcoin at the breakout back in 2020, you would have missed out on a further 200% upside and thousands of percent upside from any of your altcoins. Now, if you're already up 10 or 20x in some of these altcoins, there's nothing wrong with taking a little money off the table, okay? But you probably want to maintain pretty heavy exposure at this stage in the market cycle. Not financial advice, of course. You can make your own decisions. I am just a dude on the internet. After all, I don't have a crystal ball, and past performance does not equate to future performance. Keep that in mind. Crypto's risky. You can lose all your money, obviously, okay? Here's a chart of Shiba Inu. Check this out. So unless your chart starts looking like the damn Burj Khalifa, okay, then you're probably selling a bit too early, okay? Because late stage bull market, this is what happens. You will see massive markups in a very short amount of time as the retail herds come surging in, pushing the prices of coins higher in a very dramatic fashion. So if your coin is up 10 or 20x in a month, yeah, okay, consider taking some money off the table, okay? If your coin's chart looks like this, consider taking some money off the table. Because by the end of the cycle, a lot of coins' charts are going to look pretty much like that, where they just have these massive tower spikes. That's the time to get out, okay? That's the time to get out. Not down at the bottom before the massive tower. Don't get out at the base of the tower. You want to get out as close to the top of the peak of the tower as you can. Okay, that is the challenge for you. Let me posit this theory here for you, by the way, when you're considering selling something. Because you will have to sell, okay? You will have to sell. And you're not going to sell the perfect time, okay? You're not. There's like one guy, okay? Like one guy is going to sell the top perfectly. Like literally, on any coin, there's probably just literally like one dude that sells perfectly at the top. The one guy who buys perfectly at the top. And there's like the top buyer who will sell at the bottom, okay? But here's an idea for you. It's called regret theory. So what are you going to regret more? Say you bought a coin, it's up 1,000% in profits, okay? What are you going to regret more? Selling that coin, and then it goes higher, okay? It doubles before the end of the market cycle. So you could have had 2,000% profits, but you locked in 1,000% profits. Or you don't sell it, hoping that it's going to go higher, and that 1,000% profit, well, goes back to zero. Which would you regret more in that situation? Not getting more gains or losing everything?
That's a perfect way to think about it, because you can't be upset with the gains you already made.
Question, isn't it? Ponder it. It'll help you make the decision when the time comes. Now, an effective strategy is going to be looking at laddering out. And one way you might want to look at it is using Bitcoin as a ladder out indicator, okay? So for example, $100,000, $150,000, and $200,000 Bitcoin, main targets according to the Fibonacci extensions. You can look at those and say, okay, look, when Bitcoin hits these levels, I'm going to take 20% of my altcoins off at 100K, 30% off at 150K, and the other 50% off if we hit 200K. Sell everything, all altcoins out. And look, I know what you're thinking. Okay? If I'm going to start laddering out of positions, right? So selling a little bit as every so often as we go up, wouldn't I just make more money if I hold the entire stack and nuke it at the exact perfect top? I mean, oh yeah, that's exactly true. You would.
100%. That's kind of how I feel with like Dogecoin. So I've been doing that, right? We doubled the market cap in like a week. It was insane. So I've been taking profits on the way up to the wherever we're at now, like 40-cent mark, right? And that's okay. It's fine. Like I don't even know. I probably sold like a third of my bag, and it was worth it. I made money on it. It sucks that it still went up, but if it had any type of sharp retracement, I would have been happy because I could have bought back in with those profits. You know what I mean?
It's a great theory. I like your theory.
So we'll see what happens.
It's a nice one. I've heard that one before, actually. Here's the deal. You're probably not going to perfectly time the top, and you don't need to perfectly time the top. Catch the meat of the move, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Do that with Caspa. Sell at 15, buy back in at 10. That's what I've been doing too, all day.
Leave the pickles and the ketchup to some other guy. You want to catch the meat of the move, all right? Here's another thing to ponder. If you're full stacking at the top, quote unquote, you're going to stress yourself out too much. The greed gets too intense. The numbers get too big. Now, you may not be able to ponder this at the moment if you're just a guy who's coming with $10,000 or $20,000, but that $10,000 or $20,000, you might have a position that turns into $1 million, okay? Suddenly, market's way overheated. It's at the top. You're looking at $1 million P&L on your app. You screenshot, you think, no, it's going to go to 2 million next week. Okay, it's going to go 2 million next week. I'm a genius. It's not just the bull market. I'm actually a genius. Okay, the numbers get too big. It's hard to actually manage that. If you've never seen that much money on the screen before, suddenly it's like, holy shit. But it could go bigger, right? The greed just screws you so bad. But if you've been diligently making a habit of taking money off the table, suddenly you're not going to be so greeded out by the big numbers. You'll be okay. You'll say, I know how to take profits. Like, I know how to hit the sell button. So I'm going to do it again and again and again until there's nothing left. And I've fully exited the market and I've got, great money. And I'm taking the wife and the kids and, or, going and living in Australia for a year or, Italy or whatever your fantasy might be. So look, if you're in the market and suddenly you feel like I'm a genius, okay? The media's going crazy. Everyone thinks they're a genius. Not just you, the media's telling you. Cab drivers giving you Dogecoin tips. Sell into extreme euphoria every time. Here's the thing. That day is not today, my friends. That day will come, right? That day will come. And you'll know it. The question is, will you be able to see it through the lens of greed, okay? And when the day comes, you'll need to exit out of all your altcoins. I'm not saying you need to sell your Bitcoin if you're willing to ride it down through volatility. That's a different story. All your altcoins, chop them all, man. Have no mercy. Sell every one of these gosh darn things, not financial advice. Sell all the damn things because look at history. These things go down 99% in the bear market. Facts. The vast majority of them will go to literally zero and never come back. Bull markets end abruptly. Okay, you're going to wake up one day and everything's been down 20, 30, 40%. Like that. And then you enter denial and don't want to sell. Oh, it's going to go back up. And this is just a healthy correction. No, it's over.
How many of you guys rode it all the way down? I rode the last cycle all the way down 100%, and it's like almost back up there. And it's yeah, it was a long ride. It was a long wait, long 4 years.
You haven't taken any money off the table because you didn't have good habits. Within a 6-month period of when the market pops, maybe 12 months max, most of these crypto coins are going to go to zero, and you'll have nothing left. Your portfolio will be down 99%. You suddenly went from being rich to being broke as fuck. Why do that to yourself? Take the damn money off the table and run, okay? And when you sell, here's a very important tip. Listen up. When you sell, do not rush back into more coins thinking you're going to double or triple it, okay? When you sell, you go to stable coins and you get money out and put it in the bank, and you just wait. You just wait. You make sure you pay your taxes, okay? And then you wait. Don't buy anything for 12 months. If you think the market is top, you have no business buying anything for at least 12 months. And then you can re-enter your coins when the bottom of the bear market comes in, okay? And you can buy Bitcoin at a 70-80% discount, Ethereum, Solana, 70-80% discounts, buy your dog coins at 99% discounts. That's the time to buy. And probably...
Words of wisdom from Mr. Lark Davis. All right, moving on. Last but not least, Bitcoin price collapse coming. Let's see what he's got to say over here. Like I said, I think probably towards like Black Friday, Thanksgiving-ish area, we're going to see a pullback, but who knows?
Our price target for this cycle is Bitcoin is up big. 40% this month, 120% this year, almost 500% since its cycle lows back in 2022. BlackRock is already in. The halving already happened. Donald Trump already won. The market feels very frothy right now, very euphoric, very toppy. Is now the time to sell your Bitcoin before the crypto market crashes again? Smash that like button. Let's talk about it. Listen. I think
there's also a difference between a crash and a pullback. I don't think we're going to see a crash. We're going to have a pullback.
All think that Bitcoin is going to go up, even just a little bit more going into 2025. 95K, 100K, 110K, still on the table. But most people don't realize we've already rallied a lot. Bitcoin has been hot for the past 2 to 3 years. I never want you to be caught off guard in crypto. Subscribing to our channel gives you an edge. So if you want to make money in crypto and stay up to date with our daily videos, make sure you subscribe. And look, I know we have a lot of traders who follow us. Trading Bitcoin is a great way to make money in crypto, whether the prices are going up or down. Use either our Bybit affiliate link or MargeX affiliate link and take advantage of the promotions. Big bonuses for new users. Before you sell any of your Bitcoin, you need to see this video. I sent this video to my friends. I posted this on other social medias. The CNBC host says, hey, I think Bitcoin's rally looks close to over. VanEck's head of digital asset research says, oh, really?
Our price target for this cycle is...
I thought, Matt, that it was definitely long in the tooth, this sort of mania. You say there's, at least for your work, that you don't necessarily see that yet in terms of whether it's totally overdone?
Joe, we think it's just getting started. As we expected, Bitcoin saw this high volatility pump after the election. We're now in blue sky territory, no technical resistance, and we think we're likely to make repeated all-time highs over the next 2 quarters. The same pattern played out 4 years ago. Between the election and the end of the year in 2020, Bitcoin doubled. There were about 10% corrections, so it's not going to be a straight line, but we're up 30% so far, and a number of indicators that we track are still flashing green for this rally to continue. This is a state change in terms of government support. Look at this cabinet, the VP, Attorney General, Director of Defense, National Security Advisor, possibly even the Secretary of Treasury being pro-Bitcoin. That's not including Elon and Vivek. So the number of calls that I'm getting inbound from investment advisors who are at 0 and looking to get to 1%, or at 1% and looking to get to 3%, these calls are starting to accelerate, and we think the flows are going to follow. So our price target for this cycle is 180K. We think we can reach that next year. That would be 1,000% return from the bottom to the peak this cycle. That's still the smallest Bitcoin cycle by far.
So is now the time to buy, or is now the time to sell? Well, I'll be honest with you about what I'm doing. I just bought more. You should buy your Bitcoin with the Fold app.
My fucking God, this guy shills every 2 seconds. No, don't scan this.
180,000 Bitcoin price by next year is realistic. I'll tell you, when you listen to this guy, when you listen to VanEck's head of digital asset research explain his reasoning, I do start to believe.
Google searches are nowhere near where they were 4 years ago. Coinbase's rank in the Apple and Android app stores, nowhere near where it was 4 years ago. Look at the internals of the derivative markets, what it costs for funding to put on Bitcoin futures trades. You know, it's up, but once we get into this price discovery mode, it tends to stay elevated for quite some time.
And of course, we're all looking forward to this. Gary Gensler seems closer and closer to leaving every day. There are just so many green flags, I guess, coming up that we can look forward to.
Think it'll move when Gensler's gone? If he's gone?
Yeah, I think there's really 4 major impacts here. Okay. You know, one is just the positive impact on dynamism when you stop suing people for breaking rules that have never been written down. That's a long way of saying that regulation by enforcement is going to end. We're already seeing the economic impact of that. There are crypto projects that are announcing that they're going to hold conferences in the U.S. for the first time ever, open offices in the U.S. and New York. It's just great for U.S. jobs and GDP, right? We've got the Bitcoin reserve that would legitimize this asset as a reserve asset, pave the way for it to be used as a global settlement currency, as the BRICS countries have been doing. You know, President Trump recognizes the synergies between Bitcoin and AI. They are 2 sides of the same coin. If you want to have cheap AI, you're going to want to combine it with Bitcoin mining to take advantage of that cheap power.
And really, it takes an industry insider like this guy, Fred Thiel, CEO of Marathon, one of the US's largest Bitcoin mining companies. It takes an industry insider to really know what's actually going on. See, I put opinions like his above so many others because he and his company, they're living it. They are the crypto talent that the U.S. hopes to keep in the U.S. They are the crypto talent the U.S. hopes to attract to the U.S. So listen very carefully on why he's so bullish. If what he says comes true, I'll tell you, I do think Bitcoin hits 180K by next year.
I'm very bullish for what this next administration means for us and for the rest of the miners. The crypto industry had a sweep, essentially, in their candidates, which was very successful. As I look at policy, President-elect Trump was very adamant at the Nashville conference earlier this year about supporting Bitcoin. We're already seeing some of that in his appointees, all very pro-crypto, all very pro-Bitcoin. So I expect we will see movement in the Senate on Senator Lummis's bill around the strategic reserve, which at the end of the day, 2 million Bitcoin held by the U.S. government will have a substantial impact on the price of Bitcoin. So that's driving this price bump also. We're seeing a lot of positivity around banks being able to potentially custody and collateralize Bitcoin, which all of a sudden means you're opening up Bitcoin as an asset class to the $200 trillion of investors that exist out there. And just a small, tiny fractional allocation of 1% to Bitcoin because of the fact that it's finite will drive huge impact on the price.
And then even speaking about traditional markets, because there are a lot bigger markets out there than just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a nascent market exploding with growth. But let's talk about traditional markets. Let's talk about the stock market. Analysts are moving their goalposts. Analysts are actually saying, we were wrong. We should be more bullish. They say animal spirits are in the air. This is incredibly interesting, especially what he says at the end.
Let's bring in Ed Yardeni, President Yardeni Research. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, Scott.
So you think the goalposts really have moved, huh?
I do. I think that, John Maynard Keynes came up with the expression animal spirits, and the idea is spontaneous optimism. And we did see that in 2016 when Trump was elected and Trump 1.0. I think we're seeing again in Trump 2.0. I think the markets are excited about tax cuts for corporations as well as for lower income Americans. So that'll help the consumer sector. I think there's excitement about deregulation. And I think there's even an expectation that some of these geopolitical crises might end sooner rather than later with Trump's diplomatic intervention. So you put that all together and you get a very upbeat scenario. But I was pretty upbeat about things before Trump was elected, because I think we're also seeing a significant rebound in productivity growth. And that's really driving the economy to a large extent over the rest of the decade.
I feel like before, on the euphoria scale, if you will, you were almost at a 9, like feeling like it was getting a little bit out of hand. So has the prospects of what this new administration could bring brought that meter down at this point? Because it certainly feels post-election like it's a bit euphoric. And I'm not the one who's used that word. Others have, including Nelson Peltz today.
Yeah, I've talked about the possibility of a melt-up scenario. I mean, I keep talking about the roaring 2020s, but I give that a 55% probability. I would say 25% to a melt-up. Too much of a good thing. I think the Fed's making a mistake here, lowering interest rates and stimulating an economy that's already doing quite well. And that could very well spill over into the stock market and create a melt-up. I mean, look, valuation multiples, everybody agrees, are stretched. However, we've had this terrible recession for the past 3 years that just didn't happen. The most widely anticipated recession of all times didn't happen. It was reasonable to think it might, with the Fed raising interest rates the way they did. But if we didn't have a recession the past 3 years, why should we have one over the rest of the decade? And the longer out you can see the economy growing, the higher valuations people are willing to pay. So that's what we're in right now. But yeah, I wouldn't dismiss the possibility of a melt-up scenario.
So is now the time to sell your Bitcoin before the crypto market crashes again? Listen, you do you. We don't give financial advice on this channel, just info and opinion. And even in bull markets, it is very common in Bitcoin crypto bull markets to see 10, 20, 30%, even 40% dips in bull markets. So I can only tell you what I'm doing. For me, I'm not selling yet. I bought some more. If you look back at Bitcoin's price history, every single time Bitcoin has clearly cleared previous cycles' all-time highs. If history is any indication, the next 6 to 12 months might be crypto's best. See you tomorrow.
See what happens. All right, recap segment of things. You guys know I gotta get back to daddy duty, but look at this. Look at this real quick. This is Crypto KJ. Thanks for posting this. Luckiest man on earth invests $16 and makes $14 million in peanut cryptocurrency. That's insane. This is that new meme coin for that squirrel that got murdered by the government for zero reason. And I don't know, this is nuts, absolutely nuts. Peanuts created crypto history when a lucky trader turned $16 into $14 million in 2 weeks. This meme coin on Solana's blockchain became one of the 2024's biggest success stories, proving that small investments can sometimes lead to massive returns in cryptocurrency markets. Insanity. That's crazy. As soon as this squirrel Peanut got murdered, I had a feeling there was going to be a meme coin about it, and I really wish I jumped on it. That is insane. Good for that guy. Absolutely killing it. All right, Bitcoin, anybody's just joining, 90,000, 86 bucks. We got Ethereum at 3113. Let's see, BNB's at 622 bucks. XRP's killing it today, up over 21% to 87 cents. ADA 67 cents. Holy shit. Perfect. God damn. That is on a tear. ADA is insane. LTC 86 bucks over here, 5.79%. Near Protocol is at $5.56. Yeah, $5.56 if I can speak this morning. ETC 23.36. We have Caspa at 13.2. Dogecoin taking a little bit of a pullback, 37.3. Shiba's taking a pullback, 5.6%. Let's see, HBAR is up 7 cents today, up 20%. Crazy. Let's check out Crypto Bubbles. Let's see. Crypto bubbles. Who is donating? Let me see real quick. Mr. DJ Death Star, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He said, have a great day all and a cryptastic weekend. Is that what that says? Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't read that. Cryptastic weekend. Thank you. That's amazing. I appreciate it. Looking over here, it looks like at 88, actually XRP is top of the list for the biggest earner, 20.9%. And then we got ADA in second place and HBAR in third place. Interesting. Crazy. Fear and Greed Index Flashbang is at an 80. If anybody is wondering, this is it's good. We need to see this needle come down a bit. Again, over 75 you get worried, but be fearful when people are greedy and greedy when people are fearful. That is the way or the rule to live by. And it is Friday. I almost forgot. I gotta leave you guys with a little something. As you guys know, we always do this, but I do have to get back to daddy duty. What is this? Give me 1 second. If I could get to it. You guys know we end it with the old Silk Road every single Friday. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Have a happy and safe Friday, and I'll catch you guys bright and early. Actually, I don't know. I might catch you Monday morning. I might not. I will let you guys know though tomorrow evening. We're gonna be going early actually on Saturday Night Live. I think I'm gonna do it around. It's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 hours earlier if I do end up streaming at all. So I will keep you guys posted. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you in a bit. Peace out. Let's do this.
I wanna hold on till I can't no more.
Have a happy and safe Friday. And don't forget,
if she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Peace, peace.
Eat shit, Gary.